CCTV inspection means we can diagnose the problem and put it right fast. Whatever your drainage emergency, Happy Drains will take care of it 24/7. Click happydrains.co.uk.
Little shoppers, our champions of the checkout. Even you deserve a saving sidekick. With Lidl Plus offers, saving has never been easier. Simply scan at the till and get 20% off 1.5 litres of fabric conditioner, 50p off Oxy stain remover, and even £5 off a square fire pit from the middle of Lidl. Plus, save more on the things you love with personalised coupons just for you. Download the Lidl Plus app and start saving today. GB only, subject to availability, ends 15th of May, terms apply.
Ollie Dugmore on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
When you hear a caller like John explain that he's been stopped more than 1,500 times, and to be absolutely clear about this, I know we're communicating via the radio and I have a disembodied voice, but in case you hadn't figured it out, I'm white, I'm not black, and you hear 1,500 and you go, that is an extraordinarily large number. You almost doubt it because it's so big. And here's a couple of text messages that just sort of break it down. This is from Anthony on WhatsApp. Morning, Ollie. Listening to John, who said that he was stopped 1,500 times. You said that would be once a week for 30 years. I thought about it, and I was stopped on average once a fortnight in my 20s and 30s. The experience as a black person is a very different one that many can appreciate. Abigail is correct. The Met Police are inherently racist. Ivan adds, I used to get stopped at least once a week in the 80s. I remember walking to lunch one day with two of my friends. The police pulled us over, but only searched me. I'm a black man, by the way. That's a pretty rude one, isn't it? I'm actually, this makes me think. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago we did a phone-in? Was it last week? Might have been the one before. And it sort of pivoted and transitioned to a conversation about gang membership, and there was a guy who was in a gang who sort of spoke about, it was mixed race. He said, I can't remember the gang was mixed race, and he was talking about, I think there were Jamaicans and Irish in the gang, and he said that the Irish used to carry the knives because the police would only stop and search the Jamaican members of the gang. Let's go to more of your calls. Ashley's in New Cross. Ashley, good morning. What would you like to say?
Good morning, Ollie. I think I was listening on your last caller. It was a woman.
Abigail.
Abigail, yeah, he sounded quite distressed. And it kind of just triggered me in a sense, and I just thought I'd call in because I had a similar experience when I was around 15, 16. It happened at Stratford Westfield. And it was funny, there was a group of police officers, but the one that actually grabbed me and approached me he was from South Asian descent, I believe. He actually grabbed me, but when he grabbed me, he then came up into my ear because I was asking, why are you stopping me? What? I've done nothing wrong. Well, literally, I've just completed my shopping. He grabbed me, he pulled me towards him, and then he then whispered, but loud enough for his colleague to hear, that you people are scum. Now, as a 15, 16-year-old black boy, I've been stopped before, but this is the only one. I'm now in my 30s, and this specific stop had always followed me. It's always bothered me because the fact that, I'm at this point in my life, and I'm just obviously. It was so distressing.
It was a formative experience.
Yeah, it was one to remember, and what I specifically remember as well was that the other officer, so he was Southern Asian, but the others were all white, and one of them had actually heard what he had said, and I looked at him and I said, "Did you just hear what you just heard what you said, right?" And he just looked at me and didn't say nothing, and then albeit I was young. And I said something on the lines, and I regret saying, but I said something on the lines of, because I wanted to trigger him, I said something like, well, any police officer could be a bomber. And now, obviously, that's wrong of me. That was wrong of me to say, but I was so triggered by that. So then the police officer said, oh, well, the other police officer, white officers, then got involved and said, oh, I know what you're saying there. do you want to take this any further, sort of thing? I said, well, so you've just heard me say that, but that's, it shouldn't have been I should have never said that, and I take that back. But it got to the point where I was so fuming with just the lack of unprofessionalism and the fact that you've literally heard what the officer just said to me. Yeah.
And, well, it's offensive. No one's gonna like to be. No one wants to be called scum, do they?
It was just like.
Ashley, can I ask you about the now? Do you mind if? Are you afraid of the police today?
So what I do, I code switch, which is a term that you may have come across. So code switching is obviously, I've learned it from school because I went to a predominantly white school. So I learned that I couldn't really be myself in the school that I went to, because it wasn't just about me being black. It was actually about me being from London as well as being black. So every time I went to school, my school was in Hertfordshire, and every time I went to school, I used to get targeted a lot by teachers and other students because of the way that I used to speak.
Okay.
And even though there was other white Londoners who went to my school, they didn't really get this, the stick of it because of the fact that they were Caucasian, or they were white. But
so what sort of things would you change?
The way that I would talk, in a sense. I'll try and keep certain words, because I spoke quite colloquially in my youth.
So we're talking accent, vocabulary.
Yeah, accent, vocabulary. It's not like I wasn't talking the proper Queen's English. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just more or less like I couldn't, saying certain words, they would then just try and echo it, but not in a way that I would say it.
Right.
And then there'll always be rap at the end or something like that on them lines. They'll talk as if I'm some sort of rapper. Whereas these times I've literally just come out of primary school, so I wouldn't even know anything about this, but then they turned me into something that they had seen on TV.
They're projecting. They're projecting onto you.
They're projecting what they've seen on TV, and you've got to understand. I'm a child, I'm at primary school, so I'm not really understand. They probably know more than me about it.
You haven't got a clue what's going on at that age, have you? I mean, 11, 12 years old?
Exactly, and what didn't help, and this is the thing. This mindset, so this kind of mindset, these guys are from Hertfordshire. They don't know really, they have, multicultural isn't really a thing for these people in this area. So these are the same people who would become police officers in the future. That's what I believe. So
Ashley, could you tell me how code switching has affected how the police treat you? Has it changed sort of the instances at which you get stopped and searched? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it has helped, to be honest. I mean, when I come across certain police officers, I put on a more East End accent, like, "You're right, mate," and all that. Yeah, no problem, gays and all that. And then it actually helps. For whatever reason, it helps. You know what I mean? If I start speaking, if I'll speak, I do, in a sense, I speak like this because I speak, the way I'm speaking to you is how I normally speak anyway.
Yeah.
But if I speak, if in a sense I start speaking like I'm Chris Eubank, he's quite posh or whatever you want to call it.
I think anyone that goes around speaking like Chris Eubank, I think is liable to secure some unwanted interest from other people. Actually, I have to. It's so striking, right? Because I don't want to. I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I don't know if you caught. There was a text we received earlier from James in Upminster whilst John was on the phone. And James was saying, basically, I'm a black guy, never been stopped and searched. I work in the city, so from that you can probably figure out that he's maybe wearing a suit into the office and things like that. And he was basically saying it's down to how you walk and how you talk. That's what drives the stop and search. So that immediate sort of communicates to me that it's about class and as well as being about race, and what you've described there in terms of code switching appears to indicate the same, but it's still a deeply dissatisfactory conclusion, because you're still, why on earth should a black person have to change the way that they want to speak or walk or what they want to wear because the police are persecuting them if they don't conform to what they want them to be. I mean, it doesn't make it any more acceptable, does it?
No, it doesn't. But to be honest, but in all fairness, the police can't be entirely to blame for this. Society as a whole has come to the conclusion that black people carry knives, and that we're the cause of gang culture and stuff like that. If you ask someone from, I have a lot of friends from North, Glasgow, Liverpool, and whatnot, and if you ask them, the majority is white people who carry guns.
I had this row with someone the other day on the station. They were calling up saying that it's like a black cultural problem, and I said, well, how do you explain penny mobs, razor gangs, and the schemies in Glasgow? The vast majority of whom were white, and they didn't really have an answer for it.
This is where it ends.
Yeah.
And actually, can I just try and bring this round? The call has been fascinating, by the way. I'm not getting down it, but I'm going to try and bring this round to the conversation that we're having this hour. I mean, so do you think that it doesn't matter, who is leading at the Met? Would it be different if someone, for example, from your background was in charge?
To be honest, I don't think. I mean, how's one person going to change the mindset of thousands of police officers?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like it's institution. So you can't change. I'm sure there's a saying out there, but at the minute I've just literally finished a shift, so I can't think of it.
No, that's all right, mate. It's early in the morning. You are all is forgiven. So I would just ask you then, what is the solution if it's not a change of leadership? I mean, how do you see this getting better?
Education from the get-go, education in schools, because it stems from, like I said, this stems from young. This whole mindset. I just literally finished a shift, and funnily enough, the people that I was working with, we was actually having this discussion about, because I think there was a discussion about integration and has it worked in the UK, and I was explaining to them that if I was, it seems that right, sorry. So it seems that basically that it was kind of one-sided in a sense, where the people who have come to this country are not working hard enough in order to integrate into society. I said, okay, but on the flip side of that, if I've gone to the school that I've gone to, I literally, like I mentioned to you, I've come from primary school into a school that's predominantly white, and you want to talk about culture clash and stuff like that, but at that point, you've already deemed me to be someone that I'm not. So how does that work?
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I understand where you're coming from, and actually I applaud the fluency and the intricacy of the conversation, despite you having just finished a night's worth of work. Not an easy thing. He says, as he sits there in the middle of the night doing the radio. Not an easy thing to do, is it, guys? So difficult here. Ashley, thank you for your call. Great to have you on. Thank you for sharing your experience. I know it's not easy to talk about these things in detail. I would just reiterate, if you are a police officer, past or present, and you want to you can shine a light on this from the perspective of the person who's carrying out the stop and search, I would be very, very grateful if you'd pick up the phone now, 0345 6060 973. And that's not to obviously minimise the personal experience and the contribution from you guys that we've had on so far, talking about the horror and the difficulty of stop and search.
Okay.
But there are people conducting those stops and those searches as well, aren't there? So give me a call. If you do, you'll be the first person on. Time now,
Never mind.
5:45.
I'll find a new
LBC, last week on Nick Ferrari at Breakfast.
Chancellor Jeremy Hunt, the Labour Party think they found a solution to the small broke crossings.
It's an absolute joke, isn't it, Keir Starmer saying that? I mean, what they want to do is they want to cancel the Rwanda policy that we are now seeing beginning to work.
Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper.
Our border security is really fragmented. There have been a whole series of independent reports saying it's just not working properly. So what we are doing now is proposing a new Border Security Command, MI5, working with Europol, working with police forces right across the country to go after those criminal gangs.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast. Back tomorrow morning from 7. Listen on your radio and on Global Player, LBC.
Let's get Northamptonshire talking.
Get connected to what's happening in your area with Northamptonshire Talking, a free community messaging service from Northamptonshire Police.
Sign up to receive email updates about crime and policing where you live or work.
Talk to your local neighbourhood officers and have your say on local policing priorities.
Let's get Northamptonshire talking. Available in multiple languages. Sign up now at northamptonshiretalking.co.uk.
Ready to make your first move? At NatWest, we approve 4 out of 5 first-time buyer mortgage applications, so buying your first home could be closer than you think. Search NatWest Mortgages to see how much you could borrow in less than 10 minutes. Let's get going with your goals. Tomorrow begins today with NatWest, proud partner of Team GB. Approval rate is based on offers subject to property valuation from the 1st of January to the 31st of December 2023. Your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up repayments on your mortgage.
Has the penny dropped yet? Well, the pennies are dropping at Aldi. In store now, this week's Super 6 from as little as 29p. British chestnut, mushrooms and little gem lettuces just 59p. Extra fine beans and oranges just 79p. Picolato tomatoes only 1.19. And chilies just 29p. Cha-ching! So chop chop, get down to Aldi.
Here at Win Plus, our big prize winners can never believe their luck.
Is this a winder?
And your next big win could be just a click away, with tons of top prizes to get your hands on, like games consoles, kitchen gadgets and huge sums of cash. Enter now at winplus.co.uk. Great prizes, real winners. 18 plus, GB only, T's and C's apply.
Ollie Dugmore on LBC. Text 84850.
Get ready.
Do we believe the Met Police, the leadership of the Met Police, is in denial of the problem with which they're tasked fixing? And, well, this phone-in sort of turned into a really moving explanation and discussion of the personal experience of black people at the hands of the police.
Here we are.
For which I'm grateful for all of you sharing with me, to be honest with you. I know it's not an easy thing to talk about, so thank you for that. Do you believe, though, that the Met are in denial of the problem which they're tasked with fixing? Oliver's in South Harrow. Oliver, morning. What would you like to say?
Good morning, sir. Who told you that the Met Police is racist? Who told you that?
That would be Baroness Casey in her Casey report.
So, listen, it's all rubbish, yeah? It's all rubbish, a lie, it's a myth.
Okay.
Many black people believe that. I do not believe the Met Police is racist. I do not believe. I know this stop and search, but it's got nothing to do with the race. I'm black myself. I'm 6'2". Yeah, I'm athletic built. Go to the gym, so I'm not invisible. The police see me every time. I say hello to the police. I joke with them, smile at them.
Let's do this.
You know.
So Oliver, what do you make of the testimony that you've heard so far then on the phone-in?
Say it again, please.
Well, what do you make so far then? Callers like John saying that he's been stopped more than 1,000 times.
He's a black.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because he got might look suspicious. That's why they know exactly what they're doing. As I said to you, I'm a black man. They never stop. They look at me, I smile at them. There's never been any bad experience or interaction in that kind of sort. You see? So I do it on purpose. Sometimes I do even do it on purpose to see if they're going to stop me or search me like many black people believe. They never do. Yeah, because I don't